let's take a look here. So partisans, yeah. And the Kearney Incident. On October 17th, 1941, the American destroyer USS Kearney is torpedoed and damaged by U-567 near Iceland, killing 11 sailors. They are the first American casualties of the war. In October, while US was still neutral in World War II, I mean, only on paper, really. The Kearney was docked at Reykjavik in US-occupied Iceland. A U-boat Wolfpack attacked a nearby convoy and overwhelmed its Canadian escorts. Kearney and 3 other US destroyers were summoned to assist. Immediately upon reaching the action, Kearney dropped depth charges on the U-boats and continued to barrage throughout the night. This action was specifically cited as a provocation in Hitler's declaration of war on the US 2 months later. At the beginning of the mid-watch on October 17th, a torpedo fired by U-568 struck the Kearney on the starboard side. The forward fire room and engine room were flooded, but power from the aft engine and fire room enabled the destroyer to escape the battle zone and return to Iceland for temporary repairs. 11 men were killed, 22nd wounded. The survival of the Kearney led to renewed support to split fire rooms and engine rooms in naval vessels. No picture. The USS Kearney alongside the USS Monson in the harbor of Reykjavik. Visible is the hole from the torpedo fired from U-568. Is this the hole? I wonder. At any rate, let's start with taking out KG-1. They only have planes at Tallinn, but I want to send it to the reserve. Because I have no need for them necessarily. I also want a very small amount of recon units. Well, keeping the recon units like this is probably fine, but I have no need for STG-1 currently. Let's send them to the reserve. And that will save up supplies over in this location, so. Call of 9, Call of 3. I probably don't even need to do recon, but I might need some during the few winter turns. Let's just keep only Call of North here. And move Call of 18 for a bit. And I can keep Call of 9, remove Call of 6. Really like this, by the way. That will also save some of my resources at Pino. And then I'll also remove Call of 4th Panzer Group. Because we simply just don't need those planes there for the winter, and I'm trying to save up as many supplies as possible here. Alright, so we currently have those fighters. I'll probably put them to Leningrad, since we're probably gonna get either in Leningrad now. Kinda just only want these 3 air bases. And having them in and around Leningrad at that point is probably a good idea, so they can stay there. And then I'll have Call of North move to both of these, so they will go to Novgorod only. Yeah, sure, then. It's okay. Then Okay, remove STG 77. Did I remove a Yagashrader group? I do have 35 of them up there still. And I'll keep Koloft Center. Send them to Vyazma. Yeah, let's get rid of them for now. There we go. Transport Group A. Let's just keep him there for now. And then... Sure. Okay. I want to... I would really like it if there was a send all to reserve button. That would really speed up things around here. But sadly, we have no such button. I'll keep Koloft 4 here because we have Koloft 7 there. But at least we're cleaning house a little bit. I'll send all of these to the reserve. I really don't see any reason to keep my bombers at Sevastopol, nor do I see a reason to keep any Romanian recon squad in the area. And we'll get them back. For the next year when things are over. Okay, well that's the Romanians. Let's see, let's first get rid of STG2. That will save me some supplies for the next turn. KG51, also no reason to keep these guys here for the moment. Koloft 11, get out of here. We can barely send anything to Taganrog currently as it is. I don't have the ability to send men up there for manning the airfield. And I have Koloft South. To the recon. So there we are. Those pictures disgust me. They really do. Oh, all of them. The B is nice, I guess. Alright, like I said, we have Koloft South. And I think I want to remove the air units at Kharkov. Not only am I not actually having my rail line up there, but I do have Yagashrader 52 here and 51 over here. And I do think that for the moment, that is the with such serious numbers of airplanes gone now. I don't have any air directives, I believe, at this point, right? No. Bam. Bam. Yes, please. So still raining everywhere. And not much I can do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for my losses and things, etc. And then afterwards I'm going to end the video. I was supposed to do this already in the next, or in the consecutive one. So we're technically already one episode ahead. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Army Group South, eh? Alright. Let's take a look. We have total forces on map 2.738. For the Soviets, it's slightly less. That's good at least. They have less tanks than we do currently. That's also pleasing. Losses for the Soviets, 3.624 million men. For us, it's approaching 500,000. And most of those are captured. And we're going to take a look at the production, especially for Germany. And let's take a look at captured units. Might be something that strikes our fancy, something new. Got a bunch of T-26s that we captured. Nothing new there. Looks like the T-28E. We've seen quite a few of those. Only one KVM 1940, interestingly enough. Most of them are 41 models. We're actually not operating any of these currently. BT-32 model. We've seen that in a previous playthrough already. BT-7A. We've also seen those. A cavalry tank, supposedly. Bunch of armored cars, mortars, blah blah blah. Quad Maxim 8 AMG light flag. Okay. Nothing too fancy here. Yeah. All pretty standard stuff. Alright. That's fine. If we're looking at this, victory points 700, initiative is the same, high water mark remains 701, we actually lost 1 point. Total men, it's stabilizing here for the Soviets, going up, back up again. Total guns, Soviets going up, AFVs staying the same. Promise, of course, with the weather like this, we can't pocket them. There's just not a whole lot that's going on for our side. Manpower loss is severely dropping for the Soviets right now. Same for everything else. It's going down. It's just been not that much. Yeah, so what we can also see is, especially for units that are pulled off the line, let's see if I still have a Panzer Division here. They have a combat value of 0.89 offensive value out of potentially 42.75. Our tanks are still rocking some Panzer 1Bs. Apparently, but we're starting to see some of the replacements in the Panzer 3 Panzer Force. In that sense, we can actually look at the logistics phase report. I used to do that, but in my War in the East 1 campaign generally. Most of these for the theater boxes, but what we're really looking at is, well, let's see. The replacement ones. Airbase replacements. That's just some stuff. Then there's some captured units. Airbase replacement these days, 0 men. Total 0 men. We have some stuff going to Finland and Romania. Some exports, arrivals, transferred. 4 Panzer divisions arrived in the Axis reserves. We have a bunch of upgrades. Yeah, this is just all airframes and chassis and things like that. Doesn't really show anything for the units out there. Production. Like, this is also not good. Like, no oil, no oil. I guess they need more oil. No oil in Krems for 6 fuel. So they put stuff in the pool. But they did have 4,000. That's super weird. Wonder how that works. Okay. Anyway, seems like we can move into Sinovets there. Alright. It's a bit weird for me to say, like, I'm taking a break. This is obviously already part of the new turn, but yeah, I'll be back in a second. Because I'm kind of just ending the previous video here. And I'm starting a new one. Alright, season. Alright, back after starting up a new video for the recording. So, let's start over here. It seems like they just abandoned Osinofets. Kinda weird at that. Let's take it. Before they retreat into it. And with Osinovets captured, is there anything that can move into Schlieselberg? Only you. Well, I don't want anything weird to happen here, so I'll just take it, then I can attack these guys soon, I suppose. I mean, there's not much going on here, I guess. Only one of these is in refit. But either way, it does mean I can move this Panzer Division 1 hex back. And let's actually move the 121st over into this hex. As well. Okay, well. I kinda need to get in there. Down. There's not much use in getting that rail line up there. But that's some good news for these guys, I suppose. That, oh, that's okay. Out of HQ range. Now that's quite something. As for the 36th motorized, I'm going to transfer you to the Axis reserves here. No need to rail them out. Alright, well, let's see, because you're at 116, 160. Let's move one part over here. It might seem a bit weird, but hopefully then we'll get this fort level up a little bit faster. You're gonna withdraw on turn 21. So at that point it's already pretty questionable as to what's gonna happen there. At that point, it is, I suppose, just better to oh, I can't take that back. Okay. Well, I'm gonna move these guys out either way. And the thing is, with that 5th Infantry Division, they don't need... Because it's a city, they don't actually need the fortification levels to be protected. So let's just move the... or split the 5th Infantry Division up. And let them help in digging in. And then once they get removed, I guess they get removed. But this way there's going to be a little bit less of a problem. And at the same time, doing this. Now the reason why I don't want to say I don't care that much about this defense, but I'm so spread out here because I'm fine with retreating anyway if I need to. This is not that important, and if I have to retreat back to, you know, the Vishnevo, I'm totally fine with it. Like currently it looks nice in terms of progress, but it doesn't really matter, and I don't see myself getting up to level 2 defenses there at all, really. Oh. Thank God for that undo button. I definitely need you to be put under the 3rd Panzer Group as well, but I'll definitely do a bit of a mix-up of units there. Now, for example, I also definitely need 7th Flieger in here. In fact, I probably need 2 units in here. But I can already see myself removing something around here. But let's work on that rail line first. So, as I said, I want to get a rail line moving up towards Kaluga from this side. And that rail line needs to be moving up towards Zukinishki, or from Zukinishki at least. There's going to be a depot, yes. Moving up. Remove 17th Panzer, send them to the Axis reserves. Again, there will be a delay, but that is fine. This is not very good. Okay, there's a very specific reason why I'm doing that. It's because I need these guys to go. And I want to do it now, so there we go. This way, I know this light division will be withdrawn, so they're not going to be a whole lot worth, but I need these guys gone, so that we don't have to worry about it that much anymore. And now the 10th motorized can move to Kursk and remove itself for rest and refit at this point. Now I do have these guys in here, and let's just face it, I'm gonna take this Viking. which allows me to actually move Großdeutschland. And you in here, get them together. Because it's also a lot worse for my units to... yeah, you can because it's a Slovak unit. Thought so. Let's put you in here. That way my units are at least 3 strength. Still worth something at least. These guys, of course, at the end of the line. Now, anything very important over here? I actually want to do this and put another depot in this hex. Might be looking a bit weird this way, but right, and then the next one will be in Rostov itself. These units doing in terms of supply not all that much better, but I'll be sending 11th Panzer over to the reserves, 14th Panzer into the reserves, 9th Panzer is also getting transferred, just like the 1st Romanian army, going into the Axis reserves. I might as well put the 9th Romanian infantry also in there. And that will just kind of clean house for the supplies, that is. Because we're already getting way too little supplies here as it is, and if we look at the rail, for example, we could see it's yellow. So that just already is pretty bad generally. I mean, it's fine that they're working on this double rail, but I already have this. So in that regard, this double rail doesn't really matter all that much. It's not going anywhere currently. The thing that I do need though is, or I would appreciate though, is this double rail, because it allows this part of that rail to be a little bit more unburdened. Anyway, let's take a look. Both of these are not doing well. I'll keep them stacked like that. But if there's anything I'm doing, it's getting out 13th Panzer Division. It's worse for the Panzer Divisions than for the motorized divisions. Yeah, the motorized divisions they are motorized mostly, but the tanks just straight up have it very rough. Now, I really would have liked keeping the Romanians off of the line, but I'm advanced so far that I just have no choice but to leave them on there. I'd really like to get them into refit, but I don't think that's a good idea for some of them. In fact, what I'm actually going to do though is send these into the Axis reserves. Because I actually do not think I will need them. Obviously, I do need these to guard those locations, but yeah, I should have just kept them where they were in a way, since I don't think they're going to add a whole lot during the winter if I have to rail them and then walk them up. That just doesn't really seem worth it. Now that these guys are built up quite a bit though, at least Fort level 2, it does seem worth it to... Nah, if they're going to... Nah, they're not going to try and pull off attack. Let's just get rid of this. Access reserves. It's just... I mean, who am I kidding? They're not going to attack there. Not in this weather they won't. Okay, so I have 2 divisions here, and there is at least a German division in each of those locations. Now, I do want this 1st Mountain Division to be accompanied, but I will remove the 25th Motorized Division and put it over here. That leaves me with the 73rd Infantry Division. I do have a mind to remove the 60th Motorized over here and then put the 73rd in here. And we do know that at least for now, 1st Panzer Group is somewhat unburdened, so I can really work with this a little bit better. Let's also make you part of the 29th. That's that, and I'll put some units from the 11th Army, although that's not really all that necessary. I mean, what do you have? You have no support units either. Yeah, they're currently part of the Panzer Group, but they're also doing extremely poorly. I'll be putting them under the OKH. And no, I don't want to relocate them. No, I'll actually send them over here to just help working on that depot, I guess. Okay. Now I have this motorized corps. They don't have all that much more than this motorized division, but they do have a bunch of these units. So what I'm gonna do, for example, these guys need a lot more construction battalions. I'm gonna put some of their construction battalions. In fact, I want to remove all of their construction battalions and put them under other units. I've been busy with construction units for a while now, but I do think that these are the most important things. But also, I do still have this Romanian Mountain Brigade. If I look at strength numbers, we really do see this and this sticking out. But I do think you should be here. They're still at 1 despite all of these units stacking together. And that is a bit of a problem. Anyway, that does rather leave me with most things now taken care of. Second Panzer Group has lost a lot of units. Leibstandard, can actually move that unit away. And I still have this one unit here. And I currently feel that where can they go? I should probably put them on this hex to help out. And that's the 47th motorized. Because I would say 2nd Panzer Division, at least currently, they're having a rough time against the enemy since they're just constantly hammering it. I would really like to get to level 2. One other thing that I would really like to see here is this Panzer Division joining together, but then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split these up for a bit. Doesn't really look that much more amazing at this stage, but it's better than nothing. I do hope they get to level 2, so we can work on things just a little bit better there. Yeah, there's also an infantry division going to withdraw there, and the withdrawing of the infantry divisions is definitely something that's on my list. One thing that I'm also... Yeah, I have a lot of divisions that can... If they can clear this out, probably during like the first turn of snow, something like that, they're in an excellent position to start reinforcing some other areas. Or if they're already done a bit earlier, like probably quite a few of these are, that will also benefit me greatly. Now, it does seem like the AI has decided to go and retreat at least 2 hexes with many of these units. But there's no reason for me to follow up here. I don't need to capture Nebolochi, nor will I be able to get all the way up to this rail line and, you know, starve these Soviet units, although they do look plenty starved. Now that I've captured Vizhny Volocek, there's just nothing for me here. Except, I guess, potentially this rail line, but I'm not going to get that this winter anyway. Also, I don't want to extend my rail line even further, which is already super stretched. Anyway, with all that said and done, I want to take one last look at the reinforcement withdrawal schedule. So we moved a bunch of these to the Axis reserves. Next turn, what's going to happen? 9th Panzer Division going to the reserves. 8th SS Brigade is going to the map because it's a cavalry brigade. Romanian Armored Division. A lot of these units going to the reserves. We have the French Infantry Regiment getting to the map from Western Europe. Then we have these guys getting to the map, and then besides that we'll also get the 494th Mixed Flag Battalion as a reinforcement, but nothing too special. Then we also have a bunch of reinforcements. 1st and 2nd Border Finnish Infantry Battalion as reinforcement in Finland, and we'll get the Flanders SS Infantry Division in Western Europe. 2021 is when we'll get some serious transfers of units to Western Europe. Not only will the 5th, the 8th, and the 28th Infantry Division get removed from the map, but we'll also get some flak in return. That's amazing. Anyway, I'll be doing some reorganization once again off screen. I'll probably do like 2 turns for now because there's not a lot of action going on. But I also don't want to make this into a 2-hour episode because, to be fair, I think like half an hour episodes are really the standard that I want to go to, and I know that barely any of my episodes at this point actually make it to that, and I could probably already stop, especially with also, you know, the time I spend off screen. But yeah, I really want to keep it a little bit low, so I'll probably do 2 turns of stuff like this, even though not that much is going on. Simply because I also need to do a lot of reorganizational stuff, and I can only limit myself to, you know, 1 episode a day. I don't have 80 hours a day to work on this. You know, you have some streamers, they're like 4 or 5 hours of streaming, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's nice if you can do it. So they can advance much faster into this game than I can. But I unfortunately don't have that time. So I'll be reorganizing a little bit. Probably not as much as last time. I would say luckily, actually. And then I'll be back. So meet you on the other side there. Alright, I'm back. And once again, I did a little bit of an overhaul of the support units. There are a few more things that I did. I actually moved the Polizei SS division over to Rzhev because I kind of forgot about that unit. And I switch up a bunch of ports. I will actually disband this depot because I'm gonna get rid of this anyway. Here we are. I actually still need to build a few fortifications, so I will put myself to it. Locations where they might actually be useful. We already got one here. And I already got one there. I'll probably have some fortifications in around this area. First of all, here. Then let's remove that Romanian unit and also put a fortified zone here. Next up, I already have fortified zones in both of those areas. Rostov actually doesn't need it. I think he'll be okay. This is also a spot where there are very likely going to be very serious attacks. So we need a bunch of forces over in here in a location where we're not very likely to get a whole lot yet for a while. Unfortunately, Rostov is also no port. So that kind of sucks. At any rate, I also moved a bunch of these HQs, outfitted all of the Romanian units, at least with the maximum amount of support units that they can get. So some of these Romanians do have some marginal anti-tank guns that will still not scare the Soviets, obviously. Put Das Reich in here so it can get out of there in a while. I'll probably ship out the Hungarians into the theater box. And the reserves, I put these guys in their 2nd Army because 4th Army was overburdened. And that's pretty much about it. So yeah, I also took care of a bunch of depots. Either way, since we also don't have any reinforcements coming out this turn, we we'll just have to content ourselves with, I guess, doing not a whole bunch. Yes. But that's what you get during these particular weather turns. We'll continue to dig in as much as is humanly possible, while we hope to retain our positions later on during the winter turns. Meanwhile, our points are rather stagnant. Soviets are going up in numbers, unfortunately. Not much we can do about it at the moment, but I guess we'll see how everything goes. I guess one of the things that could happen technically is me losing something like Kalinin, for example, which will then mean that we'll have like 10 less points, which does actually mean that you'll have to go further, at least another city. So that would mean that we not only have to capture Voronezh and Stalingrad, but then say Krasnodar as well. So, and then if you lose Rzhev, well, you'll need Maikop. So, what depot is captured? Where? What are they talking about? Nothing has happened. I certainly didn't put any HQ up front. Did they mean their own depot? I cannot imagine that we captured a depot either. That's just super weird. Like, what did they mean? Well, they sure aren't doing a whole lot either, so at least for now. They do have a bunch of forces. Let's just see how they deal with stuff. I did reinforce this. This still doesn't look like very well, but I can only imagine that it looks like that because they don't have proper reconnaissance. I don't actually necessarily feel that these are the objective numbers, but who knows? The other funny thing about this is that the Soviets are also getting somewhat weaker every time. Oh, that's not really represented in the losses, even though they had a very weak die roll there. Or at least very low attack number. And ultimately, they don't lose that many more units than we do. Although they did lose a few tanks. I don't really care that much for it. Yeah. Maybe it's just the weather that makes it so that they don't lose too much. We're still attacking in the same place, even though I reinforced those areas. And we even lost more than they did. It's just so weird. Like, come on. I'll be fine. It's not as if they can suddenly take those positions. It certainly doesn't look super, super dangerous. What I have currently, though, is I have 4 construction units in pretty much every corps right now, with the exception of some of them, which is only 3. And then if I do find that a particular corps can get very close to at least level 2 fortifications, I generally will send away most of those construction units. But because none of my units have reached that level currently, there isn't really that much of a reason to remove them for the moment. We're also still in October, so it's a bit of a thing, I guess. And even though they're not attacking now, I mean, one of the things that I would have liked actually is being able to have taken this area too. That would have been quite nice. I cannot take it now, obviously. It's certainly not going to happen at this stage, but all I'm saying is it would have been nice. I don't need to take Chula, though. I don't give a rat's ass for all of this territory over here. Like, I really don't mind never having captured Stalinogorsk. I'll be able to do it in the future, though. Wow. Well, there we are. Another turn. I forgot to check the weather, by the way. That sucks. But, I sincerely hope we'll start getting some levels of fortification here. Even if it just shows 0, just show me that it's gonna start working. I know that the supplies must be insanely terrible up here, but it has to mean something. Like, they're pretty decent roads all the way up to Solnechogorsk. Solnechnogorsk? It's a crazy name. Wonder, I guess the Soviets, they must be getting more than 10 points. They must get 16 points for taking Rzhev now. I mean, if they even do get points. Like, they don't have the initiative, so wonder how that works. Alright. Axis air success in North Africa, great. That's it. Don't I get a point for that? Hey, wait a minute. Events. Oh, it just means the campaign events are moved back. Okay. Alright. So what's going on around here? Seems like this is just completely abandoned. Can't have moved down there. And what level? 0, 24, 722. Not amazing. What for the layer? 130. 48. 48. I mean, this is pretty bad. I really need infantry there too. Did I get some units in any of those hexes at least? Absolutely zero. Now, there are some supplies in there though, but I would wager that for rail it's just terrible. An absolute disaster. But I am getting a rail up to Zaporizhzhia now. That's okay. And this one is also still going up. So those things are finally working for a bit. That's good. Is that regular rain? Let's see, these are the current weather conditions. The weather ground is mostly light and or heavy mud. And for the next turn that will likely remain the same. But if we're going to go to weather air, we can see we currently have heavy rain throughout most of the Soviet Union, except all the way in the south where there's only slight rain. The next turn there's also going to be regular rain for the most part, and then heavy rain down in the south. Looking at this, we can indeed see that the weather has gotten a turn for the... Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty bad. Alright. Well, I'm gonna wrap things up here. So, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please do consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe. Quick look out to losses. Pretty much the same, I suppose. Just some border clashes, things like that. As for the numbers, Soviets are really getting higher up there. They still don't have total forces higher than us though, so at the very least that's okay. But we can as well see that their number of tanks is going up significantly at this point. Definitely noteworthy. Okay. I mean, I think that the Allies started an offensive, like Crusader, in November here. We'll see whenever that happens then. It'll be interesting to watch. Yeah, Belgrade is giving them points, apparently. How did that even work? I want to take a look at that. So, it seems that for something like Rzhev, turn Axis, turn Soviets, they don't get any bonus for taking back any of those places. That seems like. At least not for now. Not going to be a dick, but who is ever gonna capture Saratov for 30 points? Like, if you've not won the war by taking Stalingrad, well, what you could technically do is just only push through the center and not go for the Caucasus at all. Although, I guess Baku is 40 points. I just don't see any situation almost where you capture the Caucasus but not win. That's just, yeah. Okay, I could actually transfer them. Probably such a thing would be for the best. And I'm happy about those 4 levels, but I wonder if there are many units that were in refit. Probably not. That are already back up over 10,000. Indeed, it does not look like that is really the case. I'll probably only start putting the HQ there into a super HQ once the actual blizzards start hitting. I don't think I want to do that too early, but we'll see. These might look weak, but I'm quite sure they aren't, though. Anyway. They didn't even build anything up here. Yeah. I want to wrap things up. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye-bye.